r/Showerthoughts top posts of the week. Men can direct blood flow with only the power of their minds. A man can go through his whole life not knowing he is sterile. He just thinks condoms and birth control work really well. Wisdom teeth are not worthless, as they provide oral surgeons with a steady stream of income. When we get older, we realize that $100 is a lot more and a lot less than we initially thought it was. Popcorn is a quintessential movie food because, unlike chips, you can still hear the movie while eating it. Cuteness in babies is an evolutionary trait because ugly babies were abandoned and left to die. One of the rudest things no one gets upset about is on TV when the wife offers to make coffee/tea for the detectives and they leave before she gets back. The scariest thing to see when camping alone at night isn't a bear, it's a human. The nice thing about not knowing anyone's age on the internet is that you can get in an argument with an 8-year-old and leave feeling superior. Billy Joel could write an updated version of "We Didn't Start the Fire" of just the past 20 years, and it would make the original song look like child's play. Due to scientific testing on animals, we'll probably have immortal mice before we have immortal humans. If woman can have sexual gratification from a hand or another woman, maybe a little penis isn't that big of a deal. The Simpsons show has endured long enough to watch a different Treehouse of Horror episode each day in October. Sloppy Joe and Memphis Dry Rub sound less like a food and more like sex positions. When a vampire bites a mermaid, the mermaid could fly and swim, becoming one hell of an apex predator. The existence of mermaid boobs suggests the existence of mermaid milk. Airports are one of the only public places where an adult can just chill on the floor with no judgment. In Kung Fu Panda, people didn't accept Po's Dragon Warrior because of very slow and fad luck despite previous Dragon Warrior being tortoise. It is socially unacceptable for a person who has always been cancer-free to announce that they are cancer-free. Water makes fabric a darker shade, even though water is clear. Following "I licked it, it's mine" logic, most adults have irrevocably lost ownership of their genitals. And some of you have given up your elbows too. If you do a free online IQ test then pay to see the result, you failed. The most potent anger management is watching other angry people make a fool out of themselves. The odds of police detecting a 6-pack of beer in your backpack are significantly less than your paranoid 16-year-old mind imagines. Thousands of years of human advancement could be undone by just a few decades of social media. Your first grade best friend probably thinks about you too. There is probably something in the world that tastes amazing, but we refuse to try because it doesn't look appetizing to us. Humans are okay with hair when it's attached to their head, but hate it when it's not. We have always taken the fact that elephants are herbivores for granted. A man walking around with a crowbar is far more suspicious than a man walking around with 3 crowbars. Cavemen would have had waterfall thoughts. You have never been in the same exact spot twice due to galactic orbit. Kids are really obsessed with lava despite the lack of visible lava in their lives in the world. All farts are sharts, it's just a question of how big the shit particles are. Great is probably the most sarcastic word ever. Psychics that don't accept walk-in appointments aren't real psychics. They'd be expecting them. If there's dry humor, that implies the existence of wet humor, and that is terrifying. If you sniff your own fart, it puts the fart back inside of you. Basically everything you've done has been done better by someone else. If you've ever stepped foot in the ocean, you've touched the bottom of the ocean. Given how much worse silverfish are than goldfish, bronzefish must be absolutely disgusting. At some point the internet will be older than all humans alive. The amount of people older than you never gets bigger. People drive to the gym just to walk on a treadmill. All machines can be used as fog machines, as long as you use it poorly. There is a very high probability that someone in the world looks almost exactly like you. When you think of the word rapist, your mind always creates an image of a man and never of a woman. All salads are keys are salads if you stab them enough. Y'all is a progressive word. There are a decent amount of murderers who get away with it just walking around, acting normal, and no one knows. Between OnlyFans, porn, Snapchat Premium, etc., there's going to be like a whole generation of kids who can make literal your mom jokes. It is good The Matrix filmed more than 20 years ago. Nowadays Neo wouldn't have that many exit points via stationary phones. We cook bacons, but we actually bake cookies. The internet greatly reduced our paper usage, and then greatly increased our cardboard usage. Expiration dates are spoiler alerts. Ladybugs must be pretty damn confused when they fly past huge wooden statues of them in playgrounds and such. Most animals have never seen their own teeth. We choose our careers when we are worst informed about what they're actually like. It is more painful to lose a game by 1 point than by 100 points. Y'all can't stand fruit on pizza, but we are just gonna ignore the fruit smoothie that goes on every pizza. Trees could be sentient with different sensory methods, but just can't communicate it for all we know. Dogs must wonder why their owners keep collecting their poo and what they are using it for. Prince Charming knew what Cinderella looked like, but had women try on the glass shoe anyway due to having a foot fetish. Bloodbenders never have to worry about erectile dysfunction. If you ever swallow and feel there might be a bug in your throat, keep swallowing. It's easier to live with the hypothetical. The church was the Mayfair of ancient and medieval society. Watching the automatic outdoor lights come on somewhere like a park feels like seeing something you're not supposed to, like a scene change or behind the scenes moment. When you exercise, you're adding meat to your body that you can control with your mind. Your butt has released all 3 states of matter. People talk about armpits like they are all the rage, but they don't talk about leg pits, ball pits or titty pits. Quiet people are the people who scare you the most when they yell, and loud people scare you the most when they are quiet. We always hear from the older generations that the younger generation's attitudes are a result of participation trophies, but they never bring up who were the ones that were handing them out. There were clearly expenses spared on building Jurassic Park. The life you think your child lives and the life they actually live are 2 different lives. And the life you think your parents live and the life they actually live are 2 different lives. A person's income bracket can generally be determined in relation to how far away from the walls their living room furniture is located. We can fly helicopters on Mars, but can't design a dump truck that prevents rocks from flying out everywhere while driving down the highway. Taxes are a subscription you pay yearly to avoid jail. To close the curtains you actually open the curtains up. Our tongue's ability to sense even the thinnest strand of hair is not appreciated enough. We still continue to ask doggies if they want to go for a walk, knowing full well that the answer is never no. The penis is the only part of the body that gets generally praised the bigger their sizes are. Meanwhile, big forehead, big nose and big eyebrows get made fun of. Some people literally have more trust with their lives for the carners putting rides together at a pop-up carnival than they do for the people who studied for years and years. Dad bods are probably caused by finishing your children's food. Nearly an entire generation doesn't know what the back cover of their favorite albums look like. What if plants are farming us? Giving us oxygen, and until we eventually die, turning us to mush so that they can consume us. Dinosaurs technically still rule the earth, since the world relies on oil. Coffee is one of the best selling drug in the world. You're more likely to get killed by a goldfish than a T-Rex. People who go on spiritual journeys tend to become more narcissistic, not better people. Customer service and food hospitality workers are among the greatest actors/actresses that ever lived. Behind every unmotivated employee, there was a manager who convinced them that hard work won't fetch them any rewards. If you into 1980s cartoons like Gem, G.I. Joe, and Thundercats, you were into anime before anime was cool/uncool. The British love tea, queuing and pubs. But we never drink tea while queuing. We won't queue in pubs, and we don't go to the pub for a cup of tea. The car spare parts seller in the Cars movie is an organ seller. Shakespeare had an easier school life than us, since he didn't have to study Shakespeare. The last evening of a long weekend sucks. You know you're old when a knee massage sounds more tempting than sex. Ghost sightings in 500 years will probably have ghosts browsing their phones, taking selfies, or doing TikToks. The existence of speed bumps is one way irresponsible drivers can irritate you without having to even interact with you. The thing conspiracy theorists fear most is that the world in their existence is exactly as it seems. Wait, you what, mate? You made it to the end? That is epic, mate. Do me a favor and utterly disintegrate that gargantuan subscribe button. If you don't subscribe you'll regret it, because I produce very unique content. No other YouTuber does anything like it. I'm definitely creative and capable of coming up with original ideas considering that the content of this video was clearly not stolen from anyone. Cheers.